You're a person, like a real live human being. Not your role, not your responsibility, not the past.
It started like any other Sunday at Fellowship Church. The pews were filled with faithful congregants, voices lifted in worship and hearts open to hear Pastor Charles Jenkins deliver his message. But that morning would soon become unforgettable, for reasons no one could have anticipated. Pastor Jenkins had always been known for his energy and passion, pouring himself fully into every sermon. Yet, as he spoke that day, a subtle change began to ripple through the congregation. His voice wavered slightly, his grip on the pulpit tightened, and some thought it was simply the emotion of the message. The sudden collapse. Then, in an instant, everything changed. Pastor Jenkins' strength gave way, and he collapsed forward. Chaos erupted. Screams, tears, and shouts of concern filled the sanctuary. People rushed forward instinctively, some trying to help, others falling to their knees in prayer. For a brief, surreal moment, it felt as though time had stopped. Eyewitnesses described the scene as shocking, a moment that no one could have prepared for. The congregation was caught between fear and hope, unsure whether this was fainting, illness, or something more serious. Immediate response. Thankfully, several trained medical professionals were present. They quickly checked his pulse and tried to stabilize him, while church ushers did their best to manage the growing panic. Phones were pulled out to call 911, while others clasped hands in prayer, their voices trembling with urgency. Within minutes, paramedics arrived, stretcher in hand, and the energy in the church shifted once again. The joyful singing and reverent atmosphere of just moments before were replaced with heavy silence, punctuated only by sobs and whispered prayers. Pastor Jenkins was carefully carried out to the waiting ambulance, surrounded by family and church leaders who were trying to remain composed despite the fear etched on their faces. A hospital vigil. At the hospital, the intensity continued. Updates were brief but serious. Pastor Jenkins was alive, yet in critical condition. Family members stayed by his side, refusing to leave, holding on to each other for support and clinging to faith. His wife, quietly strong, requested privacy while encouraging everyone to continue praying. Church leaders took turns visiting him, balancing their concern for his health with the responsibility of calming the congregation outside. The next 24 hours were described as critical, each passing moment a test of hope and patience. Social media and public concern news of Pastor Jenkins' collapse spread almost immediately online. Videos showing the chaos in the church were shared widely, and hashtags like #PrayForJenkins began trending. Alongside the outpouring of love and support, questions arose. People speculated about the cause. Was it stress, exhaustion, or something deeper? The lack of detailed updates only fueled curiosity and concern. Messages from fellow pastors, gospel artists, and public figures poured in, expressing solidarity, prayer, and encouragement. The story had grown beyond a personal health emergency. It became a conversation about the realities of leadership and the pressures carried by those in ministry. The burden of leadership. As details emerged, it became clear that Pastor Jenkins had been pushing himself relentlessly. Travel, sermons, meetings, music commitments, he rarely paused for rest. The collapse highlighted a truth many had suspected but rarely acknowledged. Even those we look up to as strong, unwavering leaders have limits. His devotion, while inspiring, had come at a cost. Congregants and insiders began to reflect not just on the event itself, but on the broader implications for leadership and the need for community support in spiritual life. Signs of hope. Despite the fear, moments of hope emerged. Doctors reported small, encouraging signs, subtle movements, brief moments of awareness, and, most movingly, a whispered message from Pastor Jenkins to the congregation. Tell the church, I love them. For those who heard it, it was a reminder of his enduring spirit and a call to keep faith alive, even in the midst of crisis. These glimpses of consciousness brought relief, yet doctors cautioned that a full recovery would require time, rest, and a reevaluation of his responsibilities. Planning for the future, Pastor Jenkins' collapse prompted deeper conversations about the future of the church. Leadership began to explore temporary replacements and succession plans, ensuring that ministry could continue without overwhelming any single individual. While the idea of worship without Pastor Jenkins felt unimaginable to many, it became clear that the church community itself needed to grow stronger, to share responsibilities, and to support one another in meaningful ways. Community and reflection. Outside the hospital, the church family remained united. Prayer circles, vigils, and quiet worship filled the nights. Messages of encouragement spread across social media, and the broader gospel community rallied, showing the strength of faith in times of uncertainty. But alongside support, discussions about the pressures of ministry and the importance of self-care emerged. The event sparked reflection not only on Pastor Jenkins' personal health, but also on the culture surrounding leadership, expectations, and compassion within congregations. A lesson in humanity. Pastor Jenkins' sudden collapse reminded everyone that no one is invincible. Even the strongest and most dedicated leaders have physical, emotional, and spiritual limits. The story resonated far beyond the walls of Fellowship Church, encouraging conversations about shared responsibility, empathy, and the value of rest and self-care. It was a moment that shifted perspectives, teaching that leadership is a shared burden and that faith communities thrive when they support one another in both joy and difficulty. The path to recovery inside the ICU, Pastor Jenkins' journey continued. Each small improvement, an eye-opening, a smile, a whispered word, was celebrated as a victory. Doctors emphasized the need for recovery time, urging the church to allow him space to heal fully. And while the road ahead was uncertain, the sense of hope never waned. Family, friends, and the congregation clung to faith, praying for healing and reflecting on the profound lessons embedded in this moment of vulnerability. Beyond the pulpit. This event changed more than just one Sunday. It transformed perspectives across an entire faith community. Conversations about wellness, sustainable leadership, and the weight of spiritual responsibility became more open and honest. Church members, leaders, and observers alike were reminded that care, empathy, and understanding are essential components of any healthy community. Pastor Jenkins' story became both a cautionary tale and an inspiring example of resilience, faith, and the power of collective support. A united community. In the days following his collapse, the unity of the gospel community was evident. Messages of love, prayer, and encouragement flowed from every corner. Fellow pastors, gospel artists, and even those outside the immediate community reflected on the lessons learned. Faith is not only about the strength of one individual, but also about the strength of the community that surrounds them. Candles burned outside the church, hands were held in prayer, and voices joined in song, all in solidarity with one man's journey and the lessons his experience imparted. Reflection and hope. Pastor Jenkins' sudden health crisis became more than a story of illness. It became a symbol of shared responsibility, compassion, and human limits. His collapse forced the congregation and the broader faith community to confront uncomfortable truths. Leaders need support, rest, and understanding, and through this difficult experience, hope and faith endured. It was a reminder that vulnerability is not weakness, that asking for help is not failure, and that the strength of a community lies in how it responds in times of need. A lasting impact. As he began his road to recovery, Pastor Jenkins' words and actions left a lasting impression. The story became a catalyst for discussions about balance, health, and shared responsibility in ministry. It challenged assumptions about what it means to lead and inspired people to care not only for those who guide them spiritually, but also for each other. The events of that Sunday morning would resonate for years to come, a testament to faith, resilience, and the enduring power of community. Conclusion. What started as a routine Sunday sermon became a moment of profound reflection, hope, and transformation. Pastor Jenkins' collapse reminded everyone that even in moments of vulnerability, love, support, and faith can create extraordinary strength. His journey emphasized that care for leaders is care for the community, and that faith is most powerful when it is shared, nurtured, and sustained collectively. Destiny had indeed taken an unexpected turn, leaving a legacy of awareness, compassion, and hope that would echo far beyond the walls of Fellowship Church.